Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Golia. I'm an actor, singer, and creator here in Los Angeles, and I am so excited to be here with Devin and Eric from DYSPLAY. How is it going, you guys?
Hey, great. How are you?
Good. I'm great. So we have Eric, who is in Los Angeles. Is that right,
That's
Eric?
right. Yeah, here I am at my home studio here.
Love it, with a Christmas tree and all. And we have Devin, who's in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Zoom is incredible. Look at us just chatting from all around the world. I love it. Well, listen,
Yeah.
before we get started, I'm going to show everyone your newest music video.
Summer cigarette heat and the cool guy records on repeat. I can't decide. You wanna go somewhere else where they got Elvis on the jukebox. I don't wanna hurt nobody, I don't wanna make a scene. You're driving me crazy every time you talk like that. Living the freeway life, not when you were 17. She said I'll meet you, but I'm already there. You're a little too cool. 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 Okay, let's get it out of the way now. Let's talk about everyone that knows you.
Okay, I love that. I love the concept. I love the song. Can you tell me how you came up with the song and also the concept for the video and the process of shooting it?
Yeah, Eric, why don't you start with how you came up with some of those lyrics? Yeah, well, the song kind of started. We wanted to do a sort of a little bit of a throwback, obviously, but not just one specific sort of throwback. Like not just like obviously you can see there's a little bit of the Weezer sort of influence, but we didn't want to just do kind of what they did with Buddy Holly, which was to go back and do the sort of 50s thing. We wanted to kind of go through history a little bit and have a few moments from different eras. So it kind of starts with like the Beach Boysy sort of era vibe, then moves to sort of like the 80s world, and then ultimately I'm kind of like Post Malone, I guess, face tattoos, and I kind of just like go through history a little bit with the video at least.
I love it. I think it's so fun. And so,
Yeah,
did
and
you?
the song,
Oh, no.
I think you asked about the inspiration with the song, and as we were writing the lyrics, I can't really remember how the verses came about, but when we got to the chorus, we were just sort of talking about this character, this girl or a partner or somebody that we were into who was just just a little out of our league or my league or Eric's league or something, and that's something that I think I've felt pretty much my whole life, trying to meet other people and dating.
Yeah,
so it's actually
very
pretty
relatable.
close to home and personal for me personally. Eric, I don't know if you've experienced that,
Oh
but
yeah, I mean it's kind of like a little bit of like a wallflowery, not the band, but like a wallflower sort of vibe. Like it's got like a high school dance sort of feeling, at least in my mind. And then like there's parts in the record where you can kind of hear like kids walking in the halls of a school. It's kind of it's a throwback like to kind of just high school kind of in general, or like just being a kid sort of and feeling kind of out of your depth.
Well, awesome. I just think it's so great. So, how did you two meet? How did DYSPLAY start? Tell me all of that.
yeah. Well, we met in music school. We both went to USC, and
You?
Oh, you went to SC? Oh, right on.
Yes.
Did you study
Why
music?
not? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right
did.
on.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was a vocal jazz and music industry major.
Oh, well,
Oh,
we were also jazz
Yeah,
majors.
what?
That's I'm surprised we didn't cross paths at some
Yeah.
point or know
I was
some.
also really involved in theater school, so like a lot of
Oh,
my time was spent over there. But
cool,
anyway,
cool.
we'll talk about that later.
Well,
Great,
yeah, we'll talk
great
about it later.
school. I totally think I am fans of you guys even more now. So okay, you went to school.
Well, yeah, we met at school. We just became bros. I mean, at the time, our interests were pretty different, actually. I was like super duper into like jazz and just any music really made before like 1960, and Eric was just on the cutting edge of like, he had like kind of like an awesome psych rock band, and I thought that was really cool. And actually, in a way, he was too cool to be friends with me, is how I felt. But that's not how he treated me at all. And then and we just became bros and started sharing interests and such. And Then after college, we moved in together and just sort of naturally started jamming more and writing songs and became a band.
Awesome.
Yeah, we built our. It was kind of interesting because we kind of met in the middle in our
Yeah.
early 20s. Really, we built a studio together, which kind of doubled our. We like kind of enabled each other to have a little nicer space with some more stuff, because I had some more guitars and amps, and he had some more bass and recording equipment and everything. We just kind of met in the middle and kind of developed kind of a lot of what we kind of learned a lot about what we like and learned about producing and everything kind of together at that point, which is interesting. And then we just started working with other artists and doing other stuff too. And then finally released Display after the first Display single, after kind of trying to figure out what we wanted to sound like for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice that you guys took the time to like find your happy medium and something
Still are.
Yeah, still working on that.
That is being in a band, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly.
So how was the pandemic for you guys? I mean, obviously it's still going. But as far as like keeping your creative juices flowing and writing together and all of that.
Yeah, it's been a pretty great incubation period actually for us, because when it started, Eric and I, had decided, I think, that we wanted to try to make an album. And, in this world, and this, just how things have been over the last 5 or 7 years with music and art, and or art, I should say, with artists releasing music is what I meant to say. It's kind of like, bang, 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 EP, single, EP, single. And I think Eric and I, just having grown up listening to albums, and we're old enough that we bought CDs, which is something that some of my younger friends didn't do. I know. We wanted to make an album finally. And actually the pandemic was good for that, because it gave us some time to rest and try to think up how, and why to make an album. And what we found was that initially, writing songs became really hard not to, be affected and influenced by the pandemic, because it felt like, there wasn't as much to write about, because everything that felt like writing from a personal place felt like you had to talk about the pandemic and quarantine and stuff, and we just didn't want to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so what happened was, I think, I don't remember who pitched the idea or who came up with it, but we were like, maybe we could like make create a world to write in, so that it didn't have to feel like so current or like on topic about what was happening around us. And so it actually became really liberating to create the idea of doing a concept album. And we just started creating this world that we're still working on, but we're getting towards the end of. And that made it kind of easier to write songs, because we didn't have to exist in, without getting too, meta about this. Like, we didn't have to write and think up ideas from like our current situation. We could create ideas from this alternate universe. And so we ended up making a concept album, and actually the pandemic, I think, was really good for that, because we were able to channel, being inside into something that was a little easier to write about and incubate.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because you get to like go step into a different world, which actually gives you more creativity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're going to do this all the time, but at least during the pandemic, it was just so much easier to come up with song ideas when we weren't. I just didn't feel like everything had to be so personal, Also, everything felt kind of meaningless. Like, it was like, yeah, if I can't write this song about like, love or dating or like or politics or something, because it was like, we're holed up, we don't know what's going to happen, who knows where this is going, and everything that I was coming up with as far as songwriting just felt like, what's the point,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
Yeah, that totally is really.
I think we were inspired. We were talking a lot about some of our favorite writers, like some of the Tom Waitses of the world. Like, they have narratives, or like even going back to like a Dylan or whoever, like they have narratives, they have storylines, they have characters, and they have people, and they have these worlds that you can kind of create and visit. And we didn't, and a lot of our records, like the Display singles, that we've never put out an album, so we put out I think 5 singles and an EP of 5 songs, something like that. And none of those really, those were all pretty personal, like pretty like Too Cool, for example, like the last single, touches on some real stuff, as Devin was mentioning, going back. Dream is very sort of real, sort of recounting a night in New York City, sort of it's almost like sort of more of a diary type thing. And this record was our kind of foray into narrative storytelling. We made it, there's characters, there's people going through things, and it's there, they were in a world that we created, and it was kind of like freeing to do that.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that.
Oh, thanks.
I can't wait to hear it.
We're excited to share it with you.
Yeah. So do you guys have any advice for being long friends and also being in a band together, and for other people out there in bands?
Yeah, I mean, Eric and I are oh, I'm sorry, what was the end of that?
That was a question, right? That made sense.
Oh, sure.
Definitely,
yeah.
Definitely a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Eric and I haven't had too many struggles as friends. I mean, we lived together for a long time, and there was one point where it became kind of evident that like we needed to, have our own space and such, and
getting a little old. We're getting a little old to have two studios, 2 careers, two dogs, two like
2 girlfriends, but not 2 girlfriends each, just 1 girlfriend.
Got it. Yeah.
No, I mean, Eric and I understand each other very well, and we're real with each other. We respect each other a lot. I don't think that there's ever been a moment where I felt like, quick tangent to explain this, but we've been both watching the Beatles documentary, and it's so clear that like, as great as like George is and was, and Ringo, they're just getting silently railroaded by the other 2 guys who are just so far and away, like more in control of the creative situation. Eric and I don't really have that. I mean, not to compare ourselves to the Beatles, because that's not what I'm doing. Listen. But I'm just saying that Eric and I respect each other, and we're friends first, and we also happen to be in a band. So, it doesn't really feel like one of us is in control of the situation more than the other. Just we pitch ideas and we say how we feel about them, and there's not like somebody dominating the situation in any way. It just, the results of our work together is the result of 2 people ultimately making, coming to an agreement, and not really a compromise. There's a lot of songs no one will ever hear because we both couldn't get on the same page about how to finish them. So.
Oh, yeah. And Eric,
I just think we're both good at different things too. So just kind of naturally, like we get in a room and it's like, all right, I don't have to be like, hey, can you do this? He's just doing it. And it's better than anything I would have done. And it's just kind of like it's just kind of sort of naturally and sort of there's a natural efficiency, I guess, to sort of doing certain things.
And yet our roles aren't really like delegated. Like everything I do, Eric can also do.
Yeah, I don't even mean really specific. Like I like even I will play bass occasionally, which is hilarious. Yeah. Devin is like virtuoso bass player, but sometimes it's just like, oh, okay, that's what's up, and then you move on to the next thing, and it's like there's a sort of unspoken efficiency. I don't know, it just works. I don't know.
Well, it sounds very healthy and very great, and I can't wait to hear your concept album. And I'm so happy to have you here on the FENIX platform. I'm going to tell everyone watching how they can get your page onto their phone, which is that they go to https://display.fenix.band. And then there'll be a little button that can have you add it to the home screen. There will be photos here that I'm showing you. And then everyone can have easy access to everything Display. And I'm just so excited for you guys to be here. And it was so wonderful to meet you, my fellow Trojan. This is so great.
Pleasure to meet you too, Emily.
Yes. Well, you have a great time in Costa Rica. You have a great time in Los Angeles. And I can't wait to speak with you both more.
All righty.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good to talk to you.